find the area of the geometric figure. Now we know that this geometric figure is a circle that's shown here. A circle is shown with a diameter of 4 feet. But the other thing that we know is that if we look at a diameter is actually composed of one radius going from the center to the edge and another radius going from the center to the other edge. There are 2 radiuses inside of one diameter. This is the relationship between radius and diameter. If I needed to find what r is worth, which we do, and we'll see why in a second. If I need to know what 1r is worth, what the radius of the circle is, I'm going to divide both these sides by 2. If I take 2 radiuses and divide by 2, what we're left with is 1 radius, and what we find out is that 1 radius equals diameter divided by 2. So when we need to know this circle in terms of radius, the radius equals, take diameter and divide it by 2. So what's the radius? We take the d in the formula and we replace it with 4 feet and divide it by 2. We now find out that the radius of the circle is 4 divided by 2 is 2 feet. So this radius, the circle has a diameter of 4 feet, but it also has a radius of 2 feet. We need this information because we end up using the formula that the area of a circle is calculated by a equals pi r squared, and they're telling us here to use 3.014 for pi. We're also going to end up needing, because of this formula is based on radius, we needed to know what the radius number is. There's no place for the diameter number, so we converted the how the circle is described from diameter down to radius. So here come the substitutions in the formula. Once we substitute for pi, notice that even though we're using 3.14 for pi is an irrational number where the decimal portion goes on forever with no repeating pattern. So really the 3.14 is an approximation for pi to the nearest hundredth. As soon as you drop in an approximation for one of the components of a formula, any quantity like area that we calculate from an approximation becomes an approximation itself. So area is going to be an approximation for the circle. Now here comes the r part. When we read a equals pi r squared, a equals pi r squared, when we say the name for the variable r, we write empty parentheses, and then inside of it we're going to put the 2 feet. 2 feet goes up in those parentheses. 2 feet. So we've made our substitution for the components of the formula, and now we are obligated to perform. Of course, when we simplify an expression, we are obligated to follow the order of operations, which we abbreviate as PEMDAS. Grouping symbols, exponents, multiply and divide as they occur from left to right, add and subtract as they occur from left to right. What we find, the operations in this formula, we have multiply here between 2 back-to-back parentheses, which is consistent with between pi and r squared, and then we also have an exponent to deal with. So what we have when we circle these is these order of operations is we have multiply and we have exponents. So we generally do these from top to bottom, and what we have to do first is we have to evaluate the exponent that's on this radius first. So by doing that, we simply say 2 squared. The 2 is going to apply. It's almost like distributive property because it's power of a product of 2 factors. So we're allowed to square both of these individually by the power of a product rule for exponents. So we say 2 squared is 4. And feet squared, just by saying it, we generate feet squared. At this point, what we've accomplished is we've applied the exponent to its base, the exponent of 2 to its base of 2 feet. Now we naturally come, well, according to this agreement, we come down to the multiplication step, and we're going to multiply. Here's why it counts. We're able to go 3.14 times 4. We know that between a number and its unit of measure, in this case 4 and feet squared, is also multiply occurs. We're allowed to multiply in any order we want. We multiply the two numbers together, and I'm just going to perform that off to the right side here as long multiplication. 4 times 4 is 16, carry a 1. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. No carry. 4 times 3 is 12. We are carrying 2 decimal places to the right of the decimal point from this number. There are no decimal places to the right from this number. We add 2 plus 0 makes 2. That tells us to come here and move this decimal point 2 places to the left. Here's where the decimal point really belongs. And when we multiply 3.14 times 4, we get 12.56. This unit, of course, that we derive for area, this is the proper unit for area, is linear measurement to the second power, feet squared. So we finally have arrived at the approximate area for this circle is 12.56 feet squared. We go over to the answer choices if this were a multiple choice test, and we select the most appropriate response. Feet squared and square feet mean the same thing, so we've made the proper selection.